The first part of our trenching I had done by a contractor who came in here with their excavating equipment and, you know, did that work. As I said in some of my earlier videos, it's kind of hard to get contractors because there's a lot of new people in the area and we're all fighting for the same contractors. So my dad's down here from Wisconsin and we decided to rent 2 pieces of equipment. The ditch witch you see here behind me, and a Kubota 55 horse, 12,000 pound, 6-ton excavator. So neither one of us have any experience on these machines. So we're going to try them out and see which one trenches better in this hard chert rock. Will the ditch witch win or will the excavator win? Stay tuned to find out. Hi, this is Comet Troy coming to you from Linden Camp, and this is part 3 or episode 3 of our 4-part series on underground electrical for an RV park. Part 1, linked up above here, goes through bringing in the primary wire, well actually the trenching for the primary wire, 3-inch conduit, PVC conduit, 3 feet in the ground. Episode 2, again linked up here above, was a 2-parter actually. The first half of that video was on the design of the RV park electrical here, something I probably should have done before episode 1, but that's here nor there. At least it's fairly earlier in the series. And then the second part of that episode 2 is actual building the electrical panel. So that takes us to episode 3 of the underground electrical for an RV park. So this is kind of an interesting video. I think you're going to like it. I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the emotional state I was in at that time. I had put myself under a tremendous amount of pressure for a number of reasons. So the first thing is that transformers, pad transformers are hard to get here. And there's a waiting list, you know, we were told a year. So a transformer came up available and my electrician came out and said, "Hey Troy, guess what? We got a transformer available, but you know, we can't be sitting on it, otherwise they're gonna give it to someone else." So I'm like, all right, let's get her done. So got a contractor out here, you know, did the part 1 of the underground primary, and then you know, did the power panel. And the other way that I put pressure on ourselves is I had committed to renting an RV spot to a couple from New Mexico, and they had a date that they were going to be here on site in December, mid-December. So those 2 factors had you know, put some pressure under me, and my father had come down from Wisconsin to help, you know, to get this electrical service and this, you know, these RV pads, at least one of them up and running before a guest arrived. Well, it started getting close to Thanksgiving. Okay, so we're talking, you know, November 22nd, 20th, somewhere around there, and I was trying to get my contractor to come back out to do some, you know, to finish up the trenching work. And you know, when you're doing dirt work outside, there's a lot of things that can delay the project, and you know, you can get behind schedule and backed up, you know, with several customers. Weather can be a factor in that, equipment breakdown, illness within, you know, your staff. So we had waited 2 weeks for, you know, for this contractor to come out and do our trenching, and we just weren't getting anywhere. So my dad and I had this bright idea. Well, let's just go rent our own excavator and do our own trenching. You know, then we won't be at the mercy of a contractor. So we ended up doing that, and that, you know, that you'd think would alleviate some of the stress and pressure to get the work done, but that actually put more pressure and stress on us. Number one, neither one of us had run an excavator before, so there was a learning curve of at least a week before we could even start doing any productive work, and then it'd be a slow go at first until we really got proficient with the machine. And you know, the other dynamic there putting pressure on us is, you know, when you rent an excavator, you're rented for a specific time frame. So, you know, it would pain me to see the excavator just sitting on the property not being utilized. So I would be getting up at the crack of dawn or before the crack of dawn and, you know, get ready and have some breakfast. And, you know, when the sun was just starting to come up, I'd get on that excavator and start digging. And then I'd have to go work my day job. So my dad would take over and do some of that. And then after I was done working, I'd jump back in the excavator and, you know, work till past dark with the lights on. And it was just, you know, you pay so much for a rental that you really want to, you know, utilize it as much as possible and not let those rental dollars go to waste. And then, you know, we also were against the time clock to get the job done. You know, a couple newbies who, you know, had never done excavation before or worked on an excavator. So that was a big factor. And, you know, the biggest stressor was the darn weather. I think it rained almost every day that we had the excavator. And, you know, I like rain. You know, I can sit in my RV and hear the pitter patter of the rain, and it's very peaceful and relaxing and, you know, stress free. But now when you have an excavator sitting there not being used, so I would hear a raindrop on the roof. I'd go, oh, not again. And it wasn't a steady rain for like weeks. It was just like every day, you know, for a few hours, and then, you know, sprinkles, and then, you know, finally it let up. And, you know, you'd think, well, geez, Troy, you got a excavator with a cab, you know, you don't really care about the rain. Well, you do. Let me tell you, digging dirt work with an excavator in the rain sucks. Not because I'm physically getting wet or, you know, part of the elements. It's because working with mud instead of dirt is no picnic. I would take a scoop of dirt out or a scoop of mud and water, and then I'd go to dump it, and the mud would just hang out there in the bucket, and you couldn't get it out. I'd have to go out with a shovel in the rain, you know, and dig the mud out, and then it would pack in there hard, and oh my God, it just wasn't any fun at all. So today's video had a lot of stress, and I just wanted to just kind of get you in the emotional state that I was in back then. You know, working against the clock, trying to get this site ready, you know, trying to get excavator time, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who's on a time clock, so, which we were. Ended up running my dad and I pretty ragged, and I think he was pretty happy to go back to Wisconsin when we finally got it done. So here's that video.
How deep are you putting the holes?
These are 10-foot posts, so we're going 4 foot deep.
All right. Now you gotta do the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, just clean up.
Just be glad you don't have to dig the whole hole with that thing.
It wouldn't happen out here. It's way too far.
Is it straight, Penelope? No?
Smell that nice green treated wood. Smell that arsenic.
Yeah. Well, my 76-year-old father came down here to visit. He's stir crazy. He doesn't want to sit still, so I put him to work here building backsides to these RV pedestals. We decided to do a little more formative structure so they didn't get run over by RVs, especially these two here that are in the middle. So he's already completed one that we're walking to right now. So these are 6x6 posts, 8-footers that are in the ground about 4 feet, and then we put 3 2x6s across the back. So here's one that's completed, and then the RV unit will park on this side, and we'll be mounting an RV pedestal or an RV temporary power disconnect right in there. The sewer drop will go in the middle, and then water will be on the right. As an IT guy, Heff thinks that we should put in some direct hardwired internet connections because campground Wi-Fi typically sucks. So that will probably get mounted on here somewhere as well. So that's our plan, and he's hard at work. So here we are, and we're getting our RV electrical boxes installed. So here's one. We are actually getting on with the green energy program here. Notice there's no wires coming to these boxes. So we found some ionic flux capacitors that harvest static electricity from the air. So we're not going to be using any grid power for our RVs that pull up here. You notice there's no wires going to it. Magic. We're getting on board here at Linden Camp. So we've got electrical RV hookups on 4 of our sites now, using our ionic flux capacitors to harvest the static electricity from the air. So we're not going to be using any grid power here. We're just going to be pulling power from the environment. So my father came down, and he's in the process of hooking up these fancy new boxes. Here's one here, and he's working on site number 5, I guess 7 this is.
A7.
Yeah. So how's it going, Pa?
Okay, I just have to, this box isn't not going together quite right. The other did fine. This one I can't get the cover closed here.
Huh.
It's bent.
It looks like it's bent somehow.
Yeah, so I had it all done and then I couldn't get the cover closed.
Well, that's not good. I'm sure you'll figure it out. So we decided to try our hand at some trenching ourselves. We're up here at a rental place in Camden. Rented a ditch witch that we're taking with us, and also a Kubota 55 U55 sitting over there on the other side of that smaller one, the bigger one. So hopefully we'll get some trenching done here in the next week over Thanksgiving. All right, so as I've said in some of my earlier videos, you know, there's a big demand for contractors out here with all the new people moving in. So we've been waiting for a while to, you know, to get on the schedule for some trenching and that. So we decided to pivot a little bit here, and we've decided to rent some equipment. So here behind me, we went and picked up a ditch witch today. My 76-year-old father's down here from Wisconsin, stir crazy. He just can't wait to unload this thing. So here he is, gonna get it off the truck, and we got a fairly large excavator coming tomorrow. So between the ditch witch and the excavator, we're hoping to get all of the trenching done here. And we're hoping to get all the trenching done here and in a week, and have electric and sewer and water on at least these first 3 sites up here. So there's my dad unloading the machine right now. Let's see if he runs himself over. Hopefully he remembers to lift the blade. He's trying to figure out what the controls to hit. Oh, there he's got it. He's got it figured out now. Lift it higher. Your chain is hitting. Lift it higher. Lift the chain, Dad. Here. Yeah, now back up. Oh my God, pop some popcorn for this. Come on over. This should be interesting. Well, he didn't get run over. I think he's pretty excited. He's like a kid in a candy store getting to play with these machines. I can't wait to see him in the excavator tomorrow. That's coming tomorrow. I'm gonna have both these machines for a week. So that chain looks pretty loose, but I don't know. What do I know? I really don't know where he's going with the machine. Where are you going? So let me just interrupt here right now. So the priority in my mind is electrical. You know, remember the transformer that's hard to get, and if you sit on it, you know, you're gonna lose it. So apparently I didn't communicate that priority to my father, and I don't really understand where he's going with the ditch witch, and he can't hear me in his 76-year-old ears. And I quickly realized that he was gonna go and start trenching water. I'm like, well, I'm thinking to myself, well, the priority is really the electrical, Dad, and that's back the other way. But, well, the water needs to be done too. I think really he was probably sick of hauling water in for the RVs that we were living out of. So he wanted to at least get us some water going for the RVs, which, you know, is a valid priority too. But I just had to interject that for a second. Whoa, what was that? is loose too.
What?
One of these tooth is loose too.
Take a picture of that.
So we did a little bit of troubleshooting here for all the smoke that's coming out the exhaust, and we both kind of felt it was maybe an overfilled engine compartment. So what'd you discover,
Right
Pops?
here, it looks like the level's up here. Here's the high and the low mark. So we're about, 3/4 of an inch above the high mark.
So it's got too much engine oil in it.
And then it's, when we start it up and start running a while,
Don't come down to Linden Camp to visit me without me putting you to work. I put everybody to work. Here's my blue-eyed blonde friend from Wisconsin trying her hand at the ditch witch. Enjoy. Well, you're going the wrong way for one. You gotta go forward. Lift it up. Now go forward a little bit. More. That's right there, that's good. So here's the challenge that we've done so far. This is the ditch witch here, and we've made a Y trench that connects up, you know, 2 endpoints back to the panel. So you can see here where it Y's out and goes back to the electric panel. And then the other one behind me here goes over to what I'm planning for a future EV station. So back there in that pole is where I'm planning on putting an EV station. So both of these trenches were dug with a ditch witch, and you know, we still have to, I'm a little concerned there's a lot of dirt in these trenches that fell back in. We bought a post hole digger and a shovel that you see back there by the ditch witch. I'm really not looking too forward to having to dig out all this dirt. It should be loose though, so it shouldn't be that bad. We did about 40 feet of trenching, and it's just a really slow go. We're losing teeth off this thing. It's just having a hard time with this trenching. So I rented it for a week. I'm going to see if they'll take it back when our next machine arrives, which is coming down the road right now. Oh my God, how exciting. Let's see it here. So this is the machine I originally ordered, and it's pulling up right now. Santa Claus is bringing in an excavator, a Kubota U55, 55 horsepower, about 12,000 pounds, 6 tons. So here it is. How exciting. I can't wait. I feel like a kid at Christmas time. All right, we did a thing here. So Terry is delivering a Kubota U55, a 55 horse, 12,000 pound excavator, 6 tons. And we've been trying to do trenching with the ditch witch. It's just not working out. I had originally ordered this machine on Tuesday. It's gonna be delivered on Wednesday. So I was at the rental place, and I decided to bring home a ditch witch with me just to try it out. And yeah, the ditch witch just isn't working out for us. It would take us a year probably to dig the trenches we need to dig here. So I'm hoping this excavator will do a better job. So I ordered a 1 foot bucket and a 3 foot bucket. We'll use the 1 foot bucket for the electrical trenching to, you know, get deeper down. And then we'll use the 2.5 foot bucket to do more of broad trenching for, you know, possibly where we have to put multiple things in a ditch, which we're looking at combining water and sewer and communication lines. Electrical is really the only thing that has to be in its own ditch. So here Terry is unloading the thing. So we're pretty excited to give this a try. Looks like he's done this a few times. All right, my dad's getting his instructions on how to run this thing. He's been watching YouTubes on the internet for 2 days, understanding all the controls. So
No, we're from live.
Yep.
Push up high.
Everything's ready to go then, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
The swing.
okay, this is this the ISO or the CAT? Okay, this is the boom, okay? Boom. hose.
And the thumb will come out and hit that. And that goes
Okay. Alright. And then this,
through the mouth.
that's the stick. And then this is the swing, right? What?
Boy,
On the blade, this. And then the tilt. It's on the top there. Okay.
this is the track.
Right, that's the track. And this.
That's when you push that up.
Oh, that's the swivel on the boom here, right? Okay, it goes left or right. Okay. And then the tracks.
Yeah, he's like a kid at Christmas. Santa Claus just brought him a toy to play with.
You won't ever get him out of it.
I know. Yeah, he grew up on a farm, so he's operated farm machinery his whole childhood, and now he's got a tractor at his house in Wisconsin that's got a bucket on the front of it, so this is a little bit of a step up from what he's used to.
Okay. Y'all need anything, let us know.
All right, I do have one question for you. Brand new, never been in an excavator before. He's got 5 minutes so far with it. I told him he was really good. He could pick up that 1 foot bucket he just dropped into the dirt. Yeah, he's already figured out how to use the thumb. Well, look at that. He might. Well, he's gonna lose it. It's like the claw game at the fair. All right, change of plans. Your first objective, since you're going down to the fire pit anyway, I gave him a first objective to go down by the fire pit down there to practice digging some stumps out. But while he's going down there, I'm going to have him carry some trees he's going to pull out here instead along the way. So I'm going to direct him to pull some trees out right over here behind me. So, and then he can carry them down to the fire pit, and we'll save some time. So come on in here, and we need to wire this electrical box over to that electric panel. I got some trees in the way here, so we're gonna go and pull some of these trees out right now while we're at it. Well, this is interesting, figuring this machine out. Basically, you have an arm here that's got 4 cylinders on it, which means that there's at least 4 controls inside the cab, and then they operate 2 directions. So you got the master boom cylinder here. You got a stick boom cylinder up there. You got another cylinder to operate the bucket up and down, and then a 4th one for the thumb. So I've been trying to spot my dad and tell him what to do. Up, down, whatever, and then I've been telling him which cylinders to move. So that kind of worked all right on the first little shrub we pulled out.
Okay, boom is right here.
This little thing here. Open up your thumb. All right, we're gonna try to get this other one, which you kind of already pulled out. Open your thumb up. If it's not working, you got to hit the auxiliary button there.
Okay.
Okay, go down. Go down now. Extend the stick a little bit. Well, that may work. Nope, you didn't really get it. There, now close it. No, you're not. All right. You're not really getting it. You might have to take that middle tooth of the bucket and stick it behind in the roots. That's not gonna. Okay, that might work. All right. Oh, there we go. Hey, success. Tree number 2. Now let's see here. What else? Just don't move anything. I want to see what else is in the way. Yeah, these are kind of ugly trees here. Let's yeah, take this one out. I think you gotta get closer. Okay, okay, you don't gotta be that high, come down. All right, well, yeah, so. The problem is you're breaking the trees off at the base. All right, come forward. So we're about halfway through the video. I just wanted to pause here for a second and ask you for a favor. Can you please help me? I was looking at the analysis of YouTube this morning of my most popular video, which I've linked up here above, and I've realized that 97% or 97.6% of the viewers of that video hadn't subscribed. So I have 996 subscribers as I'm recording this, and I'm really close to getting 1,000. So if you could just do me a solid and click the subscribe button below and ring the bell to get notified, and you know, that encourages me to keep producing these videos that you seem to all really like, and it would help me to get my subscriber base up and please the YouTube algorithm. So with that, let's get on with the rest of the video. And thank you in advance. I really appreciate all of you. You know, here's my 76-year-old father digging out this trench. We're about ready to put conduit in. He's just got to get that last little bit out. He's starting to get the hang of this a little bit. Raise it up, Bobs. So he's moving a lot slower than the professionals would be going, but that's to be expected. This is his second day on the excavator, so he had zero experience before with an excavator. Of course, he grew up on a farm, and you know, has some experience, you know, operating larger equipment. doing pretty good. As you saw a little earlier in the video, the ditch witch did a fairly good job with the trenches, putting them about 3 feet deep or 2.5 feet for our conduit. But the challenge there was that, you know, the dirt was falling back in there, and, you know, it was really hard to get a shovel down in there to clean out the bottom of that trench, you know, working from above it. You know, it just wasn't very pleasant. So we ended up using the excavator and redigging the ditch witch trenches anyway. So you'll see that in this next video. So in hindsight, you know, a ditch witch was kind of a big waste of money. It was about half the cost of an excavator, so it was worth a try. And we only rented the ditch witch for a week. You know, we ended up having the excavator for a month, which in rental terms is four weeks or 160 hours. And we did utilize some of the ditch witch only areas, mainly in where the cluster of trees are, where it's hard to get an excavator in there and, you know, be able to dump the bucket. So, you know, we did have some short ditch witch paths that we ended up did utilizing, and we were able to stand in the excavator trenches, you know, and dig and, you know, clean out those. You know, we'd have like an 8-foot trench. You know, we were able to, you know, stick the shovel in and kind of drag the dirt out, you know, from inside the excavator trench, you know, into the ditch witch trench. So that worked out, you know, fairly well. So it wasn't a complete waste of money. So, but we ended up digging out a lot of those ditch witch trenches with the excavator in the end. Now this trench you see here behind me was dug with an excavator, the Kubota U55 excavator. And again, it's a wide type of ditch that goes over here to our electric panel, and then it comes over here to the Y, and then the one leg goes over here to the panel behind me for an RV station. And then the other ditch we dug with the Kubota goes over here to again a future EV station behind me. So things are moving along. Now the requirement from the state of Tennessee for 2-inch conduit is 24 inches deep That's the information I heard from the electrician. I haven't looked it up myself, but I trust that that's accurate. And I told my dad, and we decided that we were going to dig our trenches 30 inches deep to make sure that we had more than enough to work with, because a lot of times you have dirt that falls back into the, you know, the trenches. So we dug all of our electrical ditches 30 inches for this 2-inch conduit, and you know, a lot of it is down 3 feet, so should be nice and safe down there. And then the other requirement from the state for underground PVC is Schedule 80 under driveways. So our first piece here is Schedule 40, which is a little bit cheaper. And then when we get over the driving area here, we have three pieces of Schedule 80, which was considerably more expensive. It's got a thicker wall, so the inside diameter is smaller. The outside diameter is pretty much the same, so they plug in, so you can connect a 40 to an 80. But I have 3 Schedule 80s connected here to get across this driveway, and I believe I have 2 over there. So we have 50 feet of Schedule 80 here, and 125 feet total on these 2 runs. So that's 75 feet of Schedule 40. So the priority was to rent the excavator to do the trenching. I had a couple other agendas too of renting one. You know, of course everybody, I mean, who doesn't want to play with an excavator? So that was kind of a little personal reason. And then the other thing is, you know, I was thinking about maybe purchasing my own someday. So I wanted to just try out the machine, see what it could do, and we pulled some stumps out and took some trees down, and I drug some trees out of the hollers. And here, you know, this next video will see us, you know, pulling trees out of the holler. And well, I don't actually have video of us pulling the trees out, but Penelope she was missing me, and she wanted to go for a ride, so I let her get up, and that was kind of a mistake. She started, all of a sudden the excavator started moving because she was standing on the pedals, so had to either be careful with her in there or get her out of there. I guess dogs don't really belong in there. It's a pretty tight space, so, but she enjoyed it. She was looking out the window, and she had a good old time. So here's that video. Are you wanting to come up here and come on? You could do it. We're just pulling some logs out of the woods. Come on, Penelope, come up and say hi. Too high of a jump for you? Our intent of doing the conduit was to not only lay the conduit in the trenches, but actually, you know, elbow it up above ground and, you know, go to our RV boxes, and then also to the, you know, the panels that the electrician had installed. We bought a panel punch, and we had to redo some of the electrical work that they did. For example, there was a 110 outlet that came out the bottom, and we needed to run the conduit up there 2-inch. So we relocated that. We ended up, you know, punching out the panels with the panel punch, and all the other pre-cut knockouts fell out. So we had this big gaping hole in the bottom. In hindsight, we should not have done any of that with electrical panels. Yeah, the RV stations were fine. You got a knockout there. You got one pipe coming up. That's do-it-yourselfer type activities, but starting to mess with the actual panels, that is something I wish I would have left for the electricians, because we really messed it up. And I actually got the electrician to admit, I'm like, come on, be honest with me. Did we really like mess this up bad? He's like, he kind of looked at me with this kind of funny look and said, yeah. So I wish we would have left that for the electrician. We didn't leave it for the electrician, so here are those videos. Might as well share them. Well, today we're doing some electrical work. The electrician put these panels in and the meter box, and we're running the conduit, so we had to get into the box to connect that conduit in. Probably could have left it for the electrician to wire up, but you know, we kind of want to get the conduit finished, and so we can start to bury it and, you know that everything is plumb and straight. So one of the things we had to do here is move. I have a GFCI 110 outlet on the side, and the electrician, you know, came up through the bottom where there was a knockout, and we need to bring our 2-inch conduit up there for an RV site. So we're in the process of moving that, bringing that into the side of the box. And then I actually bought a panel punch out tool on Amazon. So we're gonna make some new holes in the bottom of the boxes with this device. Here's our toolbox, our tool bench. So here's the punch that we got. So we're going to use this guy here to cut some holes in the bottom of the panel. I didn't even know they made such a thing. I just figure you just take a big hole saw, but that doesn't work very well in sheet metal. It catches, it's dangerous, so I'm really kind of anxious to, not anxious, I'm kind of excited to see this tool in action. I think my dad's getting ready to do that here soon. My dad is a retired mechanical engineer, so I put him on the task of punching holes in the bottom of these panels behind us. And in true engineering fashion, he's got drawings with measurements, and looks like he's got a cardboard template he's going to use. I told him that, you know, these pipes coming out of, or the PVC coming out of the bottom of the panels will, you know, is above ground, and I want it to look pretty and aligned and everything else. So any OCD people out there are OCD happy. How's it going, Pa?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're getting the basics here so we can... Planning is always the big part of a job. Actually doing it is the simple part. But,
yeah, and what do we have here on the top of your drawing?
now this is the dimensions for the box where the holes will come in for the power. We have to stick 2 more 2-inch conduit here. I have to relocate a 110 outlet that was screwed on the bottom here. I have to go redo that on the side, and then we go out to our sites that we're feeding there. So I have to figure out where to punch the holes to get these connectors inside the box so they don't interfere with the cover that goes on the front of the panel.
And you're going to use this new panel punch that I purchased, right?
Yeah.
It's called a knockout punch, hydraulic knockout punch.
Yep.
One of the things that we didn't do was take down this unistrut before we started using the excavator in there. And unfortunately we hit the unistrut. And like I said in one of my earlier videos, you know, 7 ways to clear land. You know, an excavator is kind of like a bull in a china shop. So there's our piece of china that got broken. Not a big deal. We'll just get a replacement one, and we'll maybe use this for smaller stuff. So in hindsight, we should have taken that out, you know, gotten that out of the way first. So here's some drone footage, starting from the south, looking towards the north, from the RV sites, EV stations, towards the power panel. You can see the trenches here before we bury them. One of the things in the state of Tennessee is you have to get an electrical permit from the state to do electrical work on the, I guess, the service side of the meter base. The electric company inspects the trenching, you know, on the electrical company side of the meter base that supplies the power. but the state inspector will come out and inspect the trenches and inspect you know, any electrical work, you know, before you can actually cover it up. So this is what those trenches look like, you know, prior to that covering up. Does it pass inspection, Penelope? Does it look good? And then finally, we passed inspection. Everything was good as far as the trenching goes, so we were able to cover up all of our trenches and you know, be able to drive over the stuff again and not have it look like Caddyshack around here. So I was pretty happy about that. And covering the trenches in is probably one of the most gratifying parts. It's super easy and it's a lot of fun, believe me. So that was my favorite part of the whole activity, was filling them all in. So in these trenches here, we've buried a communication line and water for our RV pedestal. I'm going to backfill this a little bit so we can put our septic on top of it. The septic, you know, will not work if it's this deep. So this needs to be filled in about a foot from the top of the service and probably packed. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, you know, to get everything level so we have proper drainage to the septic field. Well, I hope you liked that video. Episode 3, Episode 4 is coming up next week. And like, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave some comments. And I will see you in the next video.